Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome to another great day of our 21 days of PMP. I hope that you guys are enjoying the videos. Today I wanted to talk about the PMP application or the CAPM application. I know that a lot of you have asked me questions about how do you complete your application, what is the best way, and how do we actually avoid an audit. So I know I've gone ahead and put the Excel sheet in the group and I've attached it in the emails for those that have asked. And now let me walk you through in terms of how do you complete it within that spreadsheet and then take that information and put it across in the PMI website. The great thing about this application is that you're going to do all of your brainstorming within this document. And this is a great place because if you do your brainstorming on the PMI.org site when you're completing your PMP or CAPM application, it may potentially trigger an audit. And our entire goal here is that we avoid audits because it takes a whole lot of time. You have to submit additional backup documents, your degrees that you have gotten, get signatures from your bosses, or anyone that has seen you perform this job. So one of the ways to avoid an audit is the reason I created an Excel sheet that you have right there in front of you. And the way the Excel sheet is broken out is into the 5 process groups. And under each process group, you have lines as it pertains to that particular process group, the activities that pertain to that particular process group. For example, if we're looking at the initiating process group, it's one of the first ones to the left. And then under it, you have all the activities you'll be performing under the initiating process group. Right on top, the top column headers have names for projects and the dates that you're going to put for each project. So go ahead and do that. And some of the tips that you need to keep in mind when you are completing your application is that you cannot have projects that overlap, which means that if you're working on project A and B at the exact same time, meaning that they both started in January and ended in December, you can only count one of them. But say that you worked on project A for 6 months, and then project B started half of the year and you finished a year with it, then that's okay. You can count 6 months of project A and then 6 months of project B. So just be cognizant of the fact that you cannot count 2 projects at the same time. So now on the top column, what I want you to do is put your project name as well as the duration of you working on a project. So what accounts for a project? Think about it this way. A project is temporary. It is undertaking when you undertake a project, is so that you can deliver a unique service or result. Did you do that? And remember that a project is not ongoing, and operational work or daily work does not count as a project. And the other thing is that when you are looking at your project, say you're looking at project A, for example, and project A lasted 1 year. How do you calculate those hours? This is what you do. Every month of a year in terms of your PMP application equals to 165 hours. So how did I account for that? In a typical calculation, when you're hired or when someone is looking at you, whether they should hire full-time or part-time employees, you're hired based out of a number of hours that you're going to work in a particular year. And so that hours equates to 2080. And that includes PTO, vacation time, maybe some sick days, and so on. So what I have done is you take the 2080, subtract it by about 40 to 50 hours so that you remove the times that you may have taken off and so on. And so really what you're left with is that 1 year of a project work equals to 1,980 hours. So now if you worked on a project for 6 months or 4 months or 3 months, you're going to take the 1,980 and divide it by the corresponding months that you worked on that project. So say if you worked on it for 4 months, you take 1,980 divided by 4. And so then you're going to get a certain amount of numbers that you know that you worked on that project. So going back to the Excel sheet, when you're filling out the Excel sheet, you're going to make sure that the total number of hours that you have added in each of the process groups, that the total number matches the amount that you said, or the number of months or years that you said that you worked on that project. For example, if we said that we worked on project A for 1,980 hours, did I say that right? 1,980 hours, then when you're looking at your activities under each of the process groups and you actually putting hours, be sure that it all accumulates or adds up to 1,980 hours. So this is how you avoid getting audited, and you want to make sure that you do this brainstorming ahead of time and that you're doing it on this Excel spreadsheet and not within the PMI.org application for the PMP. And so a lot of times, you know, some of these things that you can do ahead of time will ensure that you are calculating your hours properly, not taking any projects that you have worked on, so no overlapping of projects. And so now that you have done that part of your Excel sheet, the other thing is, how do I write my descriptions? One of the things is that you really only have about 550 characters within the box for the PMI application. So what you're going to do here is that you're actually going to take what I've created on an Excel sheet, the activities under each of the process groups, you're going to take those and make them into complete sentences. And the way you have to put it on your application or write them out is where you're gonna say, as a project manager, I worked in the initiating process group, pull in one of the examples from the Excel sheet, whatever you did, identified stakeholders, work with the sponsor to create the project chart, or whatever it may be, put in a full sentence, probably no more than one or two. Then do the same thing with planning. And then in the planning process group, I work with the team to create all my project management plans, such as the schedule plan, the cost, and created my baselines and so on, and because that's what we do in the planning process group. Then in the executing process group, you're going to say that you use those plans to perform the work. And because that's why we create all the plans in the planning process group, so that when we go to the executing process group, we know that we have a plan that we can work against. And under monitoring controlling, you monitored for variances, looked at what was planned versus what happened. And so what you're going to do, and that's where your EVM comes in, earned value management, is you're doing a comparison of what you have planned versus what has actually happened on the project. And so then you're going to say, the monitoring controlling, I looked at variances, accepted deliverables with my customer, and of course before that you do quality control. And at the end you have closing, and all we do in closing really is make sure all of our lessons learned are captured, and that we do claims administration. We make sure that all the deliverables were signed off on, and do celebration. So if you did any of that and one or two sentences, go ahead and write that. And so you're going to do that for every single project. And if you do this right, you're not going to get audited. And the other thing is that one thing, aside from your experience and the hours, what I do want to talk about is, before you put someone's name down as a reference for these projects, please be sure that you contact them and actually tell them that you have put their name as a reference. You don't want an email going out from PMI to these individuals and them not knowing what is going on. So having that conversation beforehand and just say, hey, look, heads up, I have put you as a reference under my PMI application. Just please know, if you do get an email, this is what I said I did under this project. Let me know if you have any questions. If you don't have questions, then just please go ahead and approve it. And that's pretty much it. And if you do these steps, A, B, and C, do the planning beforehand. We are project managers, so we're going to do things in advance. Then go in and take all this information, put it right into your PMI PMP application, and you are all set. I would love to answer some questions related to the application. Let me know. Go ahead and put your comments below. If you've missed the application, go to the top of the thread and you'll see that I have that Excel sheet. You can pull it out and you can go ahead and complete it. And also let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for joining in today. Another great live that I was able to bring to all of you. And then tomorrow, I'm going to talk about another awesome topic. So stay tuned. And when you see me go live, come on and watch with me and let me know if you have any questions. And also one of the things is that you can subscribe so that when I go live, you'll get an alert. Thank you so much again. Have a great day, and I look forward to answering your questions tomorrow.